folks, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you a completely honest and spoiler-free review of Prisoner of Night by J.R. Ward. Before we get too far into it, I do want to say that this book is advertised as number 16.5 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which is about a clan of a different species who have traits like a vampire. They need blood to survive long term. They are not immortal, but they live for a very, very long time, and sunlight is dangerous for them. This book, however, does not have any of the previous brothers, nor their wives or their children in it. Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you a completely honest and spoiler-free review of Prisoner of Night by J.R. Ward. Before we get too far into it, I do want to say that this book is advertised as number 16.5 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. We meet Duran at the very beginning of the novel. He is not in a great situation. He's being held captive. The female character needs to rescue her brother from the same man that is holding Duran captive. She goes to the complex, and the captor gives her an ultimatum. She needs to go find something and bring it back, and she'll get her brother in return. He gives her Duran because Duran knows how to get what she needs, and they go on this quest together. Now, Duran has been held captive at this point for over 20 years, and he's, suffice it to say, not fit for social interaction. Yeah, that's the polite way to say it. Basically, he's kind of, what we say in my house is an asshole. Remember, I have a 2-year-old, so we're trying not to swear. Fork, shirt, ask, those types of words. So basically they go on this quest together, and because J.R. Ward, even though it's like a paranormal, urban fantasy type deal, it is a romance novel. They fall in love. That isn't a big surprise. And there are moments of him wanting to sacrifice himself for her, and her wanting to sacrifice herself for him. And just like all of J.R. Ward's novels, there is a happily ever after. I will leave it there. Hopefully that wasn't spoilery. I don't think it was. I didn't give anything away that you shouldn't already know. Now it comes to my review. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. I like J.R. Ward as a writer. I love the world she builds, and I generally love her characters. The reason this didn't get a higher rating from me is because it was advertised as a Black Dagger Brotherhood novella. It didn't have any of the brothers in it. It took place in the same world, in the same setting, Caldwell, New York, at least by name. They never went out into the town. Everything was in the woods, the forest. I enjoyed learning more about vampire society. The more we get into this world, I mean, we're already pretty far into it, 16 books, am I right? But there are certain things that Ward keeps bringing in that makes it easier to see the similarities between humans and vampires. So there were no brothers. Kind of disappointing. The brothers are my favorite part. That's why I read it. I do think that Ward does a really great job with the male perspective. She doesn't overly feminize the characters. She doesn't make them think things. I mean, I'm not a man, so men, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But she doesn't make the men typically think the way a woman thinks. And she doesn't make... Okay, let me be real for a minute. One of the reasons I love this series is because of the alpha male dominance type that we get. Throwing it all out there. I think Ward does that in a very tasteful manner, and this book really shows it off. Our male character Duran is chivalrous, but not overly domineering. He tells it like it is. He is not very understanding at the beginning, but as time goes on, he starts to remember what it's like to be with somebody else in life. So I guess my gripe with this novel, besides the fact there aren't any brothers in it, would be the fact that I just didn't believe the romance. I said in my vlog after I finished reading it that I felt that the romance was like the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. There's a quote in that movie about relationships that start in traumatic situations. They're fast, hot and heavy, and passionate. And that's kind of what this romance reminded me of. Usually, even in novellas, there's either a past history between the two characters, so we believe it when they reconnect and fall in love, or they're just starting to fall in love by the end of the novella. About a quarter of the way through Prisoner of Night, they were already starting to think about having sex with each other, and it was very odd and very off-putting, and it made me very uncomfortable. And then at the end, when they have their happily ever after, I was like rooting for them, that's great, but the stuff in between just didn't make me believe it. I felt like they were kind of faking being in love. And it all just happened too fast. Like, I just have this image in my mind that in the future, their relationship is going to fizzle out because they don't have the passion, the drive, the overwhelming traumatic love that they had for each other. And I know that's crazy, they're fictional characters, there is no future, but we're all book lovers, so we imagine that our characters are living somewhere off, having this amazing life. And I just don't see that for these two characters. I didn't believe their chemistry. I thought they were forced together, and I know that was part of the story, them being forced together, but it felt very awkward that they stayed together how they did. So I didn't like there were no brothers in it. I didn't like the romance. What I did like about it, like I said before, I love Ward's writing style. I love the way she writes male perspective. I love the way she writes men in general. She also gives us very strong female characters, and she did that again. I was rooting for both of them the whole time. I felt invested in their characters, and I wanted them to succeed, which made me keep reading. So I did give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think that's the lowest I've ever rated a BDB book. However, I have a hard time categorizing it as a BDB book. I think saying that it takes place in the BDB world would have been sufficient enough, the same way Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them takes place in the Wizarding world. It is not a Harry Potter movie. I think that's how this one should have been advertised. If you agree or disagree with me, please let me know in the comments. I would love to chat with you. Please subscribe and like. It really helps out my channel. I hope you guys are keeping up with me in my reading vlogs. There should be another one posted next Monday, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll see you next time.